Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. This is the Train Master, and I just wanted to sort of talk about what's going on my workbench and sort of the projects I have at the moment. So recently I did this trade. So for context, I think it was around 1500s. We worked out a value of what $1,500 Australian was, and we had sort of figured out what we could trade for it and what I'd give him in return. So he had a fair bit of cool American stuff that I was after, and there was some, and he was definitely after some Australian. So I traded him some what was it, a UGL. So that's sort of like the people who make sort of the domestic built Australian stuff here. So they build stuff like the 6000 class, the 93s. They're all sort of like a trying to remember, I guess a Dash 9 equivalent in America, a little bit better than a Dash 9. But recently they're going to be using the new General Electric Evolution series engine, so that's going to be quite interesting actually. But anyway, so I gave him one of those, a 73 class and a 422 a 442 class, which is a sort of New South Wales equivalent to an SD40. No, actually I take that back. So what it is not an SD40. I guess it would be sort of like the Century series of these, I guess a C630. I guess that would be the closest equivalent, because it's got a 251. It's made in the late 60s. It's quite an interesting sort of engine if you ever get the chance to be in New South Wales. They're very rare, by the way, but you may ever get a chance to sort of see them. Anyway, I wanted to show you what you get for a trade like this. So I'll sort of explain to you what brands they were. I've got a little bit of foam to help sort of... Okay, so starting off, one of the engines I've actually been looking for. So it's a Union Pacific F3. It's quite nice, isn't it? It's quite sharp. So one thing I'm still trying to figure out, right, is, so whenever you turn on the headlight, right, it gives off a red marker light. So if you aren't very familiar with trains, red marker light means basically, you're at the tail end. Or, no, actually that's it, basically. You're sort of doing that, you're looking at the tail end of the train. So one thing I have noticed about Broadway, maybe not Broadway, it's basically all of them. You'll notice sometimes the grills sort of, the glue doesn't stick very well. So I'm going to have to fix that. It's not a big job. I noticed it on a few things, so you can't blame Broadway for that one. Matching B unit as well, so 905. It's quite nice. So this one is with sound. I thought honestly it was great. Great condition. Just the weird marker light thing where basically you turn on the headlight, it comes back on. And the next thing we got was a Paragon 2 SC set. I love high hoods. All right, I love them. All right. That is my thing. If you look at a lot of the locos I have, and I'll be showing you, there's a massive trend of high hoods. That's the thing I like. That's what I do. Honestly, but high hoods and GEs for some strange reason. So looks great, sounds great. I've changed, the only CV I've changed is the volume on these, because my God, they're really, really, really loud when you get them out of the box. Next thing we have is, so this is a Proto 2000. I think it's one of the later Walters run. I'll have to double check. It's a PA and PB set. So there's your PB and there's your PA at the top. So it does include tsunami sound. I can't figure out what it is. I'll definitely check out later. But one of the unique modifications, you can sort of see how there's a wire sort of plug coming out. So I think what's happened is basically The person who had this, right, I think what they've done is they've sort of rigged it together to run as one unit. So basically, using the one DCC chip. I believe in here, I'll have to double check. But basically, using that to power 2 motors and 1 set of speakers. Now, will this work? Well, so far it works, doesn't it? Now, the problem is basically you can fry DCC chips doing this, because basically, as some of you can guess, DCC chips have a certain level of output, right? So on these, if these are the later variants, which I'm guessing they are, which is half an amp, depending on the decoder, you can actually overload the decoder if you pull too much. So if these motors stall, or let's say they have a bad day and they take too much power, you can actually fry the decoder. It's not a bad idea. I thought it was a great idea. I mean, personally, the one that I want to try and do is power share between 2 decoders. So basically, where you can hook up, or basically, I guess like in real life, like a where you got the slugs. So basically, you can sort of use the power from one A unit to power the B unit, but they have separate decoders, right? But basically, you can use the pickups on both. That way, you can sort of go over larger points and all that without having any issue. One other massive thing I really, really like, I got, it wasn't from the same guy, but I did trade it in, was the C&O. I'm not sure, I think it's an RSD7. I will have to double check. But this is something that I love. It looks great. It sounds great. And look, I don't have a lot of C&O. I think the only one that I've got is an Allegheny, so that's gonna have to be fixed sooner or later, because it was an MTH one. Decoder only worked in forward, and it's an MTH decoder, which I'll get my thoughts on it one day, but basically I think they are the worst decoders you can probably get. Just in general, because, well, they don't work. When they do work, they don't work very well with DCC. And I know the argument is, well, actually, they were never meant for DCC. But I understand the argument is, oh, well, you know, it's not meant for DCC. It's meant for only MTH, you know, controllers. That's an argument of like trying to say, you know, I don't even know. It's just stupid. Okay, I don't like it. It doesn't work very well. So I paid someone else to hopefully get it fixed to or swapped over to an ESU decoder. I love my ESU decoders. But Tsunami 2, it's pretty up there. We'll actually show off a bit of wagons to sort of break it up a bit. So I got 3 of these Acura rail ones. So BN, it's kind of nice. You can see the decal is a bit sort of broken there. It's not that much of an issue. These are going to get weathered anyway. A bit of a project at the moment is putting graffiti on these. I've always wanted to do graffiti on a on a wagon, right? I got to see them a lot at work, so I've always sort of been always wanting to do these. All right. Bit of a fun fact about wagons. So you'll notice, right? Graffiti. Sorry about that. So, graffiti artist, right? Yeah. So what they do is, look, they're pretty clever. All right, they're not as dumb as you think. Or so what they do is they'll make sure to avoid any of these important sort of identifying marks, because as some of you who are railroaders would know, a lot of them avoid it, because if they cover the identifying marks, it has to be repainted, because you've got to know which wagon it is. But the problem is, right, if you cover If you cover the identifying marks, you got to repaint the whole wagon, so that means their stuff is gone. So, how do you fix that? Well, you never paint them over. So, they're always trying to avoid painting things like that. You'll notice it even on locomotives, where if they ever do tag them, they'll always make sure to avoid things like that. That way, it never seems a rush job, but obviously, no matter where you are, the locos are usually the first priority. So, to match that, I have a whole lot of GP7s and 18s and 9s. So, as you can tell, I think this is the one with the dynamic, as you can tell from the two God, what's it called? Radio fans. So, honestly, love it. I think BN is one of the few railroads where I never sort of originally sort of went, yeah, I couldn't understand the craze. It's sort of like me in Santa Fe, but still no, and Santa Fe still hasn't really got me there, so I'm gonna hopefully wait. I mean, look, I've got one, but it's a bit special. It looks wonderful. So that's the first of the Jeeps. The next is, I'll just be showing the shells because a lot of them are brand new in box. So I'll be doing a video on that sooner than later. Where's a good example to show? So, to sort of explain myself, so whoever's, as a lot of you can guess, right? Especially those who sort of done this before. So, in order to convert a Proto 2000 to DCC, generally, these incandescent bulbs gonna have to go. They just burn out instantly due to the voltage. Right? I think they're 3-volt light bulbs. They fry basically immediately the second you power it onto DCC. You'll see them glow bright, gone. Okay, and then the next thing you're gonna notice is there's not a lot of space. All right, and the third thing is, so you're gonna notice things like how these are gonna stall pretty quick, because on these you can sort of tell, not on this one because I have been trying to sort of re-lubricate these, but on some of these, especially ones that's come out brand new in box, you gotta be really careful about this, because so actually, do I have one? Actually, I'll showcase one of my Alco PAs that I sort of ripped apart. So I'll use a little pointer. So on this mark, you can sort of tell when this little nut sort of sits, and what can happen is over time grease sort of stays in there and basically turns into glue. So that place, basically, you're going to take up a lot of power and a lot of torque just to make the train even just move from a start, right? They really rob you a lot of power, a lot of speed, so, and they can make it feel like you're having a lot more issues that you're not. So that's one thing I'd recommend if you ever get one of these, you definitely fix. What else was it? Where's the other shell? God, you can never find whatever you need. Pennsylvania. Seriously, but oh, there they are. So, next thing we have is this beautiful New York Central. This was the one that I was like, yes, please give me. It's already DCC fitted, so that's kind of nice. So that means you'll definitely see this running in a future sort of conversation about Proto 2000s, the GP7s, 9s, and 18s. Why all three? Because basically the same with slight engine modifications. So these things, great. Seriously, I love them. You know, I don't have anything bad to say. If you want to like start a model railway, and you told me, hey, I've only got $150, get these, get better track. get a couple of wagons you see on eBay, and this is the way to go. It's a great way to start. And we've also got a Mopac. Not my favorite railroad, but hey, can't complain. So look, it's Mopac. It's not really one that I collect, so I might showcase how to do this, convert this to DCC, just regular, and sort of change out the gears, sort of use this as a sort of demonstrator. And last but not least, the guy gave me this as sort of a repair job. Alright, now, I don't collect Illinois Central, but I remember, there was this girl I liked, and she was from Illinois. And, yeah, why not? Look, so one thing I've already identified is all it's missing is, as you can sort of see, the worm gear, all that's actually still there. So all I'm missing actually is this sort of worm gear cover, and repaint the front pilot, get a new sort of knuckle coupler in, and I've got a pretty cool one to go to. Alright, so what else is on the workbench? So I've sort of refinished this this Conrail U36C. Alright, can't forget the C. So I'm gonna go and try and weather it, because I've never weathered something this bright blue, so it'll be quite interesting to do it. And another sort of pet project of mine is, I don't know. So in the videos, right, I know some guy's gonna say, well, they were never that glossy in real life. I don't know about you, but even the logos I've seen in real life, I wouldn't say they're glossy, but they're pretty. But that's because a lot of them are freight logos. And most of the ones I see here, like Warrant, they're metallic. You'll see them from like miles away. So recently, I've been trying to refinish and see if these come out, nice on camera. So I've sort of been trying to see if the gloss coat would make it a bit better. Because I thought, bluntly, it was looking a bit too dull here. I might refinish sort of the Southern Pacific, hopefully, in the near future. Look, do not get me wrong, I am not a fan of the Santa Fe, alright? But, like how we always have exceptions to the rule. This is my exception to the rule about Santa Fe. So, as you can tell, this is a Santa Fe PA shell. So I actually did get a Santa Fe PA and PV set. So the PV is, where is it? Where are you? Sunshine. So we got the PB. I will be definitely converting these to DCC. The only question is getting the Mars light to work. Because as you see in the start of the video, so that's a Broadway's Mars light. So I love that effect. So, and I think I can pull it off in the ESU. So I'll definitely be coming out with a review of the PAs, because we've got daylight. As you can see in this video, I've shown off my daylight. I've shown off my my Pennsylvania, and recently I've also been refinishing this Dentro Rio Grande one. I'm gonna do a bit of touch-up details for the paint spots I've kind of went over, so I gotta fix that, because I'll show you before, and I'll show you what I was trying to achieve. But on the Proto 2000 ones, they have this part in orange. That's not a thing, all right? In real life, that didn't happen. So there you go. So I'll sort of show a bit of clips here and there of the sort of SD7s, bit of the CNO sort of in my sort of life. Hence why I call myself the train master of my yard. But yeah, that's on the bench, and hopefully end of next month I'll show you what I've achieved and sort of what I've gone through. Hopefully I will have something very big to showcase. And thank you for watching this video.